Ladies and gentlemen, dear friends and fellow dreamer, today I want to talk about something that we often forget in our journey through life. The incredible value that we hold. There are moments in our lives when we feel like we're not enough, like we're misunderstood or even invisible. But I am here to remind you, you are enough, just as you are. Sometimes people come into our lives and they fail to see our worth. They may leave us or they may walk away thinking they won't miss a thing. And while it hurts, let me tell you, they will regret losing you. Not because of who you are in their eyes, but because of who you are in your own. We are often quick to internalize rejection, as though it's a reflection of our flaws or shortcomings. But the truth is, it's not about you. It's about them. When someone doesn't recognize your light, when they fail to appreciate your depth, it's not a reflection of your worth, but their inability to see the treasure that is right before them. And I know, it's painful. The emptiness when someone walks away, the longing for validation, the hurt from unspoken words and unfulfilled promises. But I promise you, you are more than those moments. You are the courage to rise again, the strength to keep going, the love that still flows in your veins, even when the world feels cold. I stand here today not as a perfect person, not as someone who has never faced rejection, not as someone who has never known what it feels like to be abandoned. I stand here as someone who has learned to love herself, to stand tall, to say, I am worthy of love, of respect, and of success. I am not defined by the people who fail to see that. And let me tell you, they will regret losing you because when someone leaves, they don't just lose the version of you that they knew. They lose the courage it took for you to keep giving, to keep loving, to keep showing up even when the world seemed to turn its back on you. They lose your heart, your fire, your dreams, and your resilience. So do not waste another second questioning your worth. You are not a consolation prize. You are not second best. You are not a shadow to someone else's light. You are the light. And when people realize that, when they see what they've lost, they will regret it. But by then, you'll be long gone. You will have moved on, found your peace, and embraced your power. Never doubt for a second that you are deserving of all the love, happiness, and respect the world has to offer. Your journey is not defined by the people who failed to see you. It is defined by you, your strength, and your ability to rise. They will regret losing you, but you, my friend, will rise stronger, wiser, and more beautiful than ever before. Sure, I can do that. Here's an expansion of the first keynote, Know Your Worth, into 1,800 works. We often find ourselves in situations where we doubt our own value. It could be after a tough conversation, a disagreement, a rejection, or even a simple misunderstanding. In those moments, it's so easy to start questioning who we are. We look outward, seeking validation, approval, and sometimes even reassurance from others, hoping that they will tell us that we matter, that we are good enough. But the truth is, while it's natural to seek connection, our worth should never be contingent on anyone else's ability to see it. Knowing your worth means understanding deep down that you are inherently valuable no matter what anyone else says, does, or believes. Your value isn't up for negotiation. It doesn't fluctuate based on someone else's mood, opinion, or treatment of you. It is not something that can be given or taken away by another person. This understanding is critical to living a fulfilled, empowered life, and it's something that often requires conscious effort to cultivate. We live in a world that constantly tells us to look outside ourselves for validation. We're taught from a young age to measure our worth based on external factors, our accomplishments, the way we look, the people we associate with, or the success we achieve. We chase these markers, thinking that they will somehow fill us up, make us feel whole. What happens when those things are gone? When success fades, when relationships end, when beauty fades, where does that leave us? It leaves us with an empty space. one that can only be filled by truly knowing and understanding our own worth. Knowing your worth means not relying on external achievements or opinions to define who you are. It's about recognizing that no matter what happens on the outside, you are valuable and worthy simply because you exist. When you truly know your worth, you stop seeking approval from others. You stop allowing other people's opinions to dictate your self-esteem. You realize that their judgment, their perception of you doesn't hold power over you. You recognize that someone's inability to see your value says more about them than it does about you. It's a reflection of their own limitations and biases, not your worth. Their opinions are shaped by their experiences, their own self-worth, and their understanding of the world. Your worth, however, is unshakable and not dependent on someone else's lens. Knowing your worth means recognizing that you have unique gifts, strengths, and qualities that make you who you are. You may not always see them clearly, and others might not always recognize them, but they are there. We all have something special to offer, something that sets us apart from anyone else. When we learn to value ourselves, we stop waiting for someone else. We start to own them. We begin to understand that we are worthy, not because of what we do, but because of who we are. Our very existence is a gift, and it deserves to be honored. It's important to remember that knowing your worth doesn't mean becoming arrogant or self-centered. It doesn't mean you think you're better than others or that you are entitled to special treatment. Knowing your worth is about self-respect and self-love. It's about recognizing your own value and standing firm in that truth no matter what happens around you. It's about showing up for yourself even when the world seems to turn its back. It's about not settling for less than you deserve and not allowing others to treat you as anything less than valuable. One of the challenges of knowing your worth is that we live in a society that often places more value on the external than the internal. We are encouraged to focus on what we can accomplish, what we can accumulate, and how we are perceived by others. We are told that success is measured by numbers, titles, and accolades. And while these things can be rewarding and fulfilling, they are not what defines us. What defines us is our character, our heart, our capacity to love, to grow, and to persevere. What defines us is how we treat others, how we handle adversity, and how we show up for ourselves. When we focus on these internal qualities, we are better able to recognize our own worth. We no longer seek to prove ourselves to others because we already know who we are. We don't need to chase external validation because we find validation from within. One of the most liberating aspects of knowing your worth is that it frees you from the need to compare yourself to others. When we don't know our worth, we often fall into the trap of measuring ourselves against the achievements and successes of others. We look at the person next to us and think, they have it all together. They're smarter, more talented, more successful. I'm not as good as them. But this kind of thinking is not only harmful, it's also untrue. Everyone has their own unique journey, their own set of challenges, and their own path to walk. Comparing ourselves to others only undermines our own worth. When you know your worth, you understand that your path is uniquely yours. Your life is not meant to look like anyone else's, and neither are your accomplishments. There will always be someone who seems to be further ahead, more successful, or more accomplished. But that doesn't take away from what you have achieved, what you are capable of, or what you will achieve in the future. Knowing your worth means embracing your journey as it is and celebrating the progress you've made, no matter how small it may seem. Another essential part of knowing your worth is learning to set boundaries. When you truly understand your value, you don't allow others to take advantage of you or treat you in ways that are disrespectful or unkind. You stop saying yes when you want to say no. You stop tolerating behaviors that undermine your sense of self-worth. Setting boundaries is a crucial part of protecting your energy, your peace, and your well-being. It's a way of saying, I value myself enough to not allow anything or anyone to diminish my spirit. Sometimes knowing your worth means walking away from situations, relationships, or environments that no longer serve you. It means saying goodbye to people or places that are toxic, draining, or unappreciative. It means trusting that when one door closes, another will open, and that you deserve to walk through doors that honor and value who you are. Leaving behind what no longer serves you can be incredibly difficult, especially if you've invested time, energy, or emotions into something or someone. But when you know your worth, you trust that there is something better waiting for you, something that will align more closely with your values and your growth. It's also important to remember that knowing your worth is a journey, not a destination. It's something that requires ongoing work, self-reflection, and self-compassion. There will be days when you feel uncertain or doubt your value. There will be times when others will try to make you feel less than you are. But the key is to keep coming back to that inner knowing, to that deep truth that says, I am worthy. The more you practice this mindset, the more you will begin to live it. Knowing your worth isn't just about feeling good about yourself. It's about understanding that you are deserving of all the goodness life has to offer. It's about recognizing that you are worthy of love, success, respect, and happiness simply because you exist. When you know your worth, you stop waiting for others to give you permission to live your best life. You start living it fully and unapologetically. There will always be challenges, obstacles, and setbacks. There will always be people who don't see you for who you truly are. But in those moments, remember that your worth is unshakable. It is not dependent on the opinions of others, the circumstances you find yourself in, or the things that have happened to you in the past. It is rooted in who you are, your strength, your heart, your spirit. And once you know your worth, no one and nothing can take that away from you. Knowing your worth is the foundation upon which you build a life of authenticity, courage, and fulfillment. It's the key to unlocking your potential and embracing all the greatness that is within you. And when you fully understand this, nothing can stop you from living the life you are meant to live. Rejection is one of the most difficult experiences we face in life. It has the power to shake us, make us doubt ourselves, and leave us feeling insignificant. We've all encountered rejection at some point, whether it's from a person, a job, a situation, or even a dream we've poured our heart into. In those moments, it feels personal. It feels like we've been found lacking in some way, like we weren't good enough. But what if I told you that rejection is not about you? It's not a measure of your worth, nor does it define your potential. It's simply a reflection of someone else's perspective, or perhaps their limitations. Embracing rejection begins with understanding that it's not a personal attack. When someone rejects us, whether it's a person walking away from a relationship, a company turning us down after an interview, or a dream we chased not materializing the way we hoped, it's easy to internalize the experience and believe that we are somehow unworthy. But the truth is, rejection is an external event. It is an interaction between circumstances, choices, and perspectives, not a reflection of our character, our capabilities, or our value. Rejection is often about fit. Whether it's a relationship, a job, or even a project, there is a certain alignment that needs to happen for things to work. If that alignment doesn't exist, it's not because you are lacking. It simply means that the situation wasn't the right fit for you. Perhaps the timing wasn't right, or the other person or entity wasn't able to recognize your value or offer you what you truly needed. Understanding this helps remove the sting of rejection. It reminds us that it's not a reflection of our worth, it's just a sign that we need to keep moving forward and find what aligns with us. Sometimes we try to control the outcome of every situation, and when things don't go the way we want, we take it personally. We ask ourselves, what did I do wrong? Why wasn't I enough? But the reality is, life doesn't always unfold according to our plans, and people are not always able to see our potential. When rejection comes, we often look for reasons outside of ourselves to explain it. We analyze every word we said, every action we took, and we wonder where we went wrong. But what we don't realize in those moments is that our worth has nothing to do with the outcome. Rejection is simply a redirection, a nudge from the universe telling us that this is not the path we are meant to follow. Instead of viewing rejection as something negative, we can shift our perspective and see it as an opportunity. It's an opportunity to learn, to grow, and to become stronger. Every no brings us one step closer to the right yes. Each time we are rejected, we gain more clarity on what we truly want and what we need. Rejection teaches us resilience. It shows us how to stand back up, how to dust ourselves off, and how to try again with greater wisdom. And the more we embrace rejection, the more we learn how to move through it without allowing it to derail our sense of self-worth. One of the hardest aspects of rejection is the fear it creates, fear of being rejected again, of failing, of not being good enough. It can stop us from trying new things or putting ourselves out there in the future. But here's the thing, the fear of rejection is far worse than rejection itself. It can paralyze us, keeping us from seizing opportunities and living fully. When we allow fear of rejection to control us, we shrink away from the world, hiding our gifts, our talents, and our dreams. And in doing so, we miss out on the very things that can lead us to success, happiness, and fulfillment. Embracing rejection means refusing to let fear dictate our choices. It means acknowledging that rejection is a part of life and not allowing it to stop us from continuing to move forward. Rejection also serves as a powerful reminder that not everything is within our control. We cannot control the actions of others, nor can we dictate how they perceive us. And that's okay. It frees us from the burden of needing to be perfect or to please everyone. Embracing rejection is about accepting that we cannot control every outcome. And that's not a failure. It's a release. It's the freedom to let go of what we cannot change and focus instead on what we can. We can control our own actions, our own responses, and our own beliefs. And when we accept that we are not responsible for other people's choices or decisions, we free ourselves from unnecessary stress and disappointment. Rejection also teaches us the power of self-compassion. In the face of rejection, we often become our harshest critics. We tell ourselves that we're not good enough, that we should have done better, or that we'll never succeed. But when we embrace rejection, we learn to be kinder to ourselves. We begin to understand that rejection doesn't diminish our worth. It's simply part of the process. It's okay to feel disappointed or sad, but we must also be gentle with ourselves, allowing space for healing and growth. Rejection isn't an indictment of who we are. It's just an invitation to be better, stronger, and more aligned with what is truly meant for us. Embracing rejection is about understanding that it doesn't define us. It's a moment in time, not a permanent verdict on our lives. Just because one door closes doesn't mean all doors are closed. There will always be other opportunities, other paths to take, and other people who will see us for who we truly are. Rejection only has power over us if we let it, when we embrace it, when we view it as a stepping stone rather than a roadblock. We become more resilient, more confident, and more open to the possibilities life has to offer. The next time you face rejection, remember this. It is not about you. It's about the circumstances, the fit, and the timing. It is not a reflection of your value or your worth. It's simply a redirection, an opportunity to grow, and a lesson in resilience. Embrace rejection, let it teach you, and allow it to propel you towards something better. Hurt is something we all encounter in life. It comes in many forms: the loss of a loved one, the end of a relationship, betrayal by a friend, or even the quiet ache of unmet expectations. It's easy to feel like we're drowning in pain when it arrives. Hurt can make us feel weak, powerless, and sometimes like we'll never be able to heal. It can make us question our worth, our choices, and even our capacity for love. But the truth is, hurt is not the end of the story. It is a chapter. And like every chapter, it eventually comes to a close. What really matters is how we rise above it. When hurt takes hold of us, it's tempting to stay stuck in it. We replay the painful events over and over, trying to understand why it happened, how we could have done things differently, or if there was anything we could have done to prevent it. This constant analysis keeps us tethered to the pain, keeping us from moving forward. The more we focus on the hurt, the more power we give it. But the reality is, the past cannot be changed. What happened, happened. We can't undo it, no matter how many times we wish we could. However, we do have control over how we respond, and that is where our power lies. Rising above hurt begins with accepting it. We have to allow ourselves to feel the pain, to grieve, and to acknowledge the emotions that come with it. Too often we are taught to suppress our feelings, to move on quickly, or to push through the hurt without fully processing it. But the truth is, we cannot heal unless we face the pain head on. It's okay to feel sad, angry, confused, or disappointed. Those emotions are valid and they are a natural part of the healing process. But we cannot let those emotions control us indefinitely. We cannot let them define us. We must give ourselves permission to feel them and then give ourselves permission to let go of them. Rising above hurt also means refusing to let it define who we are. When we're hurt, it's easy to fall into the trap of believing that the pain is an intrinsic part of us. We might begin to think, I am broken, or I will never be whole again. But this is a lie. Hurt may shape us temporarily, but it does not determine our identity. We are not our pain. We are not our struggle. We are the sum of our strengths, our values, our kindness, and our ability to rise above whatever challenges come our way. Hurt might change us, but it doesn't have to define us. It's just one piece of the story, not the entire narrative. It's important to remember that rising above hurt requires time. Healing is not a linear process. Some days will feel easier than others, and some days the pain may resurface unexpectedly. But with each day that passes, we move further away from the sharp sting of the hurt and closer to acceptance and peace. In those moments when the hurt feels overwhelming, it's essential to take a step back and recognize how far we've already come. Every small victory, every step forward, no matter how tiny, is a testament to our strength and resilience. Another crucial aspect of rising above hurt is choosing forgiveness. Forgiveness doesn't mean excusing the behavior that caused the pain or forgetting that it happened. It means releasing the hold that hurt has on us. It's about freeing ourselves from the emotional weight that the pain has placed on our hearts. Holding on to grudges or resentment only prolongs our suffering. It traps us in the past and prevents us from embracing the present and moving toward the future. Forgiveness is a gift we give ourselves, not the person who caused the hurt. It's a declaration that we are not going to let our past dictate our future. We are choosing peace over anger, freedom over bitterness, and healing over suffering. Rising above hurt also involves shifting our mindset. Instead of focusing on what we've lost or what was taken from us, we can focus on what we still have. Even in the midst of pain, there are always things to be grateful for. Our health, our strength, our loved ones, our ability to learn and grow. When we begin to shift our focus toward gratitude, we open the door to healing. Gratitude doesn't erase the hurt, but it helps us put things into perspective. It helps us see that despite the pain, there is still beauty in our lives. We have the capacity to heal, to rebuild, and to find joy again, even in the face of adversity. Rising above hurt requires a level of self-compassion that many of us struggle to give ourselves. We are often our own harshest critics, especially when we're in pain. We tell ourselves that we should be stronger or that we should be over it by now. But this inner dialogue only keeps us stuck in the hurt. Instead, we need to be gentle with ourselves. We need to speak to ourselves as we would to a friend who is hurting. We need to say, it's okay to feel this way. You are allowed to grieve. You are allowed to take your time. You are worthy of love, kindness, and healing. As we rise above the hurt, we begin to see it differently. Instead of something that holds us back, we start to view it as something that helps us grow. Hurt, while painful, teaches us important lessons about ourselves. It shows us where our boundaries lie, what we are capable of enduring, and what we value most. It can deepen our empathy and make us more compassionate toward others who are experiencing pain. It also teaches us resilience, the ability to face difficult situations, to stumble and fall, and yet to rise again, stronger than before. Rising above hurt doesn't mean that the pain disappears or that it no longer matters. It means that we choose to move forward, to not let it keep us in a state of suffering. It means taking the lessons learned from the experience and using them to grow, to become wiser, and to ultimately live a more fulfilling life. It's a choice we make every day, to not let the hurt control us, to not let it dictate our future, and to continue moving forward, one step at a time. The path to rising above hurt is not always easy, but it is always worth it. It requires patience, self-love, and the willingness to keep going, even when the road feels uncertain. Life is a journey, a unique and personal path that each of us walks. It is not a race, nor is it a competition. So often we compare ourselves to others, measuring our success, our growth, and our progress against the timelines and milestones of people around us. We look at others and wonder why they seem to have it all together, while we feel lost or behind. But the truth is, your journey is yours and yours alone. No one else can walk it for you, and no one else can define it but you. The idea that there is a prescribed timeline for success, happiness, or fulfillment is a myth. It is easy to get caught up in the idea that there is a right way to live or a correct order of events that should take place in our lives. Society often tells us what milestones we should achieve at certain ages: graduate by a certain age, marry by another, have children, achieve career success, and so on. But what happens when we don't follow those expectations? What happens when we don't meet those milestones? We may begin to feel like we're falling behind, like we're not doing it right. But that's the danger of comparing our journey to someone else's. Your journey is yours, and it doesn't have to look like anyone else's. Everyone moves at their own pace, and everyone has different experiences and lessons to learn. Some people may seem to have figured everything out early, while others may take a little longer to find their way, but neither is more valid than the other. The only journey that matters is your own, and it's important to recognize that no one else can dictate what it should look like. There is no one-size-fits-all when it comes to personal growth and fulfillment. Sometimes we can feel discouraged when we compare our journey to others. We see people achieving things we've been working toward, and it can feel like we're failing or that we're running out of time. It's easy to fall into the trap of thinking that we're not enough because we're not on the same path as someone else. But comparison is the thief of joy. When we look at someone else's success, we often forget to celebrate our own. We forget to recognize how far we've come, how much we've already accomplished, and how many challenges we've overcome. Instead of focusing on others, we need to focus on our own growth, our own milestones, and our own unique path. Every person's journey is shaped by different experiences, challenges, and opportunities. The struggles you face, the lessons you learn, and the victories you achieve are all part of your unique story. Some paths are smooth, others are rocky. Some are long, others are short. But every path is valuable. Every step you take on your journey contributes to the person you are becoming. The beauty of your journey lies in its individuality. It's the only one that can teach you exactly what you need to learn in this lifetime. Your journey is also constantly evolving. What may seem like a setback today can be a stepping stone to a better future. We often look at our struggles and see them as obstacles, but in reality, they are opportunities for growth. The challenges we face are not there to break us, but to help us evolve into stronger, wiser, and more resilient individuals. When we face difficulties, it can be easy to feel like we're stuck or that we're being held back. But these experiences often often provide us with the tools we need to move forward. Each obstacle is a chance to learn something new, to build a new skill, or to gain a deeper understanding of who we are and what we truly want in life. Another aspect of owning your journey is learning to trust yourself. We are often told to seek advice from others, to follow their guidance, and to take their opinions into account. While it's valuable to listen to others and learn from their experiences, it's also important to trust your own instincts. You are the expert on your own life. You know what feels right for you and what doesn't. Trusting your own judgment and listening to your inner voice will guide you in making the best choices for yourself. Your journey is your own to navigate, and you have the wisdom and strength within you to make decisions that align with your values and your purpose. There will be moments when you feel uncertain, moments when you question if you're on the right path or if you're moving fast enough. These moments are normal. Uncertainty is a natural part of the journey. It's okay to not always know exactly where you're going as long as you keep moving forward. Sometimes the beauty of the journey lies in the mystery of it. Not knowing exactly what the future holds allows for growth, for change, and for new experiences that we never could have anticipated. Trusting the process means embracing the unknown and having faith that it will all unfold as it's meant to. There may also be moments when others question your path or offer unsolicited advice. People may not always understand your choices or the direction you're heading. That's okay. Not everyone will see your vision, and not everyone will understand why you make the decisions you do. But what matters is that you understand it. Your journey is yours to live, and while others may have good intentions, their opinions don't need to dictate your path. The only person who truly knows what's best for you is you. It's also important to recognize that your journey isn't defined by a destination. The idea of reaching a certain point and thinking that we'll be finished or fulfilled once we achieve it is an illusion. Fulfillment isn't found in one single moment. It's found in the process, in the continuous growth and evolution that takes place as we move forward. Each step we take, each challenge we overcome, and each experience we have is part of the journey. The destination is not the end, it's simply a part of the ongoing process of becoming the person we're meant to be. The truth is, your journey will have highs and lows, moments of clarity and moments of confusion, periods of progress and periods of rest. There's no one way to live it, no one path to follow, and no right or wrong time to achieve anything. It's not about how quickly you get there or how perfectly you get there. It's about honoring your own pace and trusting the process. Keep walking your path with faith in yourself, knowing that every step, every decision, and every experience is bringing you closer to the person you're meant to be. Your journey is yours, no one else's, and that is its beauty. Absolutely. Here's the expanded version of Keynote No. 5. You have a voice. We all have a voice. It's something we are born with, something that is uniquely ours, yet it often feels like something we must find or even reclaim. It's easy to get lost in the noise of the world around us, to let other voices drown ours out, or to hold back from speaking up because we fear rejection, judgment, or the idea that we might not have anything valuable to say. But the truth is, your voice matters. You have a perspective that is uniquely yours, and your thoughts, feelings, and ideas are worth sharing with the world. It's easy to forget the power of our voices, especially in a world that often values volume over substance. We look around and see people who seem to have louder voices, those who seem to command attention with every word they speak. We might find ourselves doubting the value of our own voice because it doesn't seem to fit into the narrative, or because it doesn't have. But the value of your voice isn't determined by the volume with which it's heard. It's determined by the truth it carries, by the authenticity with which it's spoken. A quiet voice can be just as powerful, just as impactful as one that is loud and boisterous. It's not about how loudly you speak, it's about how deeply your words resonate. The first step in finding your voice is acknowledging that it is yours to have. No one else can speak for you in the way that you can. No one else has your exact experiences, your exact perspectives, or your exact ideas. We often think that in order to have something valuable to say, we need to be experts, to be well-spoken, or to have all the answers. But the truth is, your voice is valuable simply because it's yours. It doesn't matter if you don't have all the answers. What matters is that you are willing to speak your truth, share your perspective, and contribute to the conversation. Your experiences, however small they may seem, are valuable because they are a part of who you are. Your voice doesn't have to be perfect. In fact, it's often in our imperfections that we find the deepest connection with others. When we share our struggles, our fears, and our uncertainties, we invite others to do the same. We create a space for vulnerability and authenticity, which fosters deeper understanding and connection. There is power in embracing the imperfect, in allowing your voice to be real and unpolished. Perfection is an illusion. What matters is that your voice reflects your true self, your authentic self. Another important aspect of finding and using your voice is understanding that it's not just about speaking out, but also about speaking up. Sometimes we think of our voice only in terms of speaking to others, but it's just as important to use our voice for ourselves. Speaking up means standing up for what you believe in, advocating for your needs, and setting boundaries. It means honoring your own worth and insisting on being treated with respect. It means telling the world that you matter, that your thoughts and feelings are valid, and that you deserve to be heard. It's not always easy, especially in a world that sometimes tells us to stay silent or to shrink back. But using your voice for yourself is just as important as using it for others. The fear of not being heard or not being understood can often keep us from speaking up. We may worry that our ideas aren't important or that they will be rejected. But the truth is, not everyone is going to understand or agree with everything we say, and that's okay. Our voice isn't meant to please everyone. It's meant to be a reflection of our own thoughts, ideas, and values. The world doesn't need us to conform. It needs us to be authentic. Even if no one else agrees with us, speaking our truth is an act of courage and an act of self-respect. Your voice is also a tool for change. Every great movement in history started with someone speaking up, someone using their voice to challenge the status quo, to ask questions and to demand better. Change doesn't happen when people remain silent. It happens when we are brave enough to stand up and speak out, when we push against the norm and refuse to accept things as they are. It may seem like a small act, but when we speak our truth, we contribute to the collective conversation that shapes our world. Every time we speak out against injustice, inequality, or ignorance, we are adding to the chorus of voices that demand a better world. It's important to remember that your voice is not just about what you say, but how you say it. How you choose to express yourself can have a profound impact. When we speak with kindness, empathy, and respect, we create an environment where others feel safe to share their voices as well. It's not just about having the courage to speak, but also about creating a space where others feel heard and valued. In a world that can often be loud and overwhelming, offering a voice that is calm, compassionate, and respectful can be incredibly powerful. When we speak with love, we open the door for others to do the same. Using your voice isn't just about the words you speak, it's also about the actions you take. The way you live your life is another form of speaking up. When you stand for something, when you take action toward making a difference, you are using your voice in a way that goes beyond words. Your choices, your actions, and the way you show up in the world all communicate something powerful. You don't always have to speak to make an impact. Sometimes, the way you live your life can speak volumes.